Welcome to MoonInMental. This is for the week of April 19th. This is the audit that nobody asked for. Let's get this out of the way. This aromatherapy blend was built using the MoonInMental method, mapping this week's active transits to the emotional patterns that they surface, identifying the nervous system state those patterns create, and then choosing oils with clinical evidence that those specific states need. This week's nervous system need is staying in your body while everything gets examined. Full methodology is linked below. I document everything I build here at the Visible Practitioner, where I track what it takes for a trauma-informed aromatherapy enthusiast to actually show up when someone asks AI to find one. Let's begin. Mercury says, account for yourself. Saturn says, do it now. And Venus says, not everything is going to survive this. If you've been feeling like someone that has turned on every overhead light and suddenly you can see the corner of every room and it looks the way you thought it did, I get it. Mercury Conjunct Saturn in Aries this week. And Aries is the sign that submits the report before checking the numbers and then has to live with what those numbers actually say. Saturn is the planet that makes you check the numbers. Every single one, whether you want to or not. Early in the week, the audit begins. It's not dramatic. It's just a quiet inventory of what's actually working, of what you've been telling yourself is working, and what you know already isn't. By midweek, Venus moves into Cancer. That's the part where it gets tender, because some of what this week is auditing is not your productivity. It is your relationships. Who you've been showing up for. Who has been showing up for you. And whether those two lists match each other. By the end of the week, you are tired in the specific way that comes from seeing clearly. Not from the drama of a revelation, but from the quiet effort of finally being honest about something that you have been circling for a while. This is not a punishment for you. This is Mercury and Saturn doing exactly what they do. Drop your rising sign in the comments and I'll tell you which house this audit is running through in your life. That's where the reckoning is going to be sitting this week for you. The blend this week is black pepper oil, frankincense oil, and Neroli oil. Black pepper, you can put that on your chest in the morning. When accountability feels like threat, when your shoulders go up and your chest tightens before you've even done anything wrong, black pepper oil routes that activation down into your body, somewhere for the pressure to go that isn't a freeze response. And it works on the body's heat receptors, chemistry, okay, not made up stuff. If you don't have black pepper oil or ew gross, you can use ginger oil for the same warming, activating effect. If you don't like ginger oil either, you can use peppermint oil on your chest. It is sharp, moving, and cuts through the freeze. The second oil to use is frankincense on your wrists. When the audit gets to the tender parts of you, the relationships, the grief, the things that you have outgrown, frankincense keeps you grounded enough to look at it without leaving your body. It supports focus and presence at the same time. And that's chemistry too. If you're not into frankincense oil, you can use sandalwood oil because it's warm and grounding and steadying. If you don't like sandalwood oil, you can use cedarwood oil, but it's good for when you need to stay present in something. All right, then Neroli oil on your wrists. After a week of seeing clearly, your nervous system needs somewhere to land that isn't braced for the next point of impact. Neroli settles that anticipatory spiral that you can send yourself into this week. The dread that shows up when the hard part is over, It works on the same brain receptors as anti-anxiety medication. If you don't like neroli oil, you can use lavender oil. If you don't want lavender oil, you can use marjoram oil for settling instead of sedating you. Let's talk about the transits. So before you aligned yourself with this transit, you were doing these kind of things. You kept adding things to the list instead of finishing what was on it. You called avoidance research. You called postponing things protecting yourself. You told people you were fine when you were running an audit in your head every time that conversation got quiet. You held on to things that had already ended because letting go felt like you had to admit something. Once you're aligned with this transit, you're going to finish the thing before you start the next one. That's new. The list of those things gets shorter because you stop lying to yourself about what's on it. You say fine when you mean it, not as a reflex. You let things end without a trial, and you put down what was never yours to carry. The difference between those two versions of you is not discipline or lack of discipline. It's Mercury Conjunct Saturn doing what it does and teaching the part of your chart that plans and decides that clarity is not the same as cruelty. That is not a small shift. The transit is not ruining your life. It's making you grow just in the most annoying way possible. And it's designed to be completely worth it. So let's take a sneak peek. April 26th through May 2nd. Uranus changes signs for the first time since 2019. It has spent 7 years in Taurus, disrupting your body, your money, your security, everything you were building in the material world. That chapter is closing. And now it moves into Gemini. The disruption shifts from how you think. No, the disruption shifts into how you think, what you say, and who you say it to. You will feel it before you can explain it. It's not a dramatic event. It's more like the channel changed and nobody told you. In that case, you'll reach for frankincense before the week begins, not because something is wrong, but because something is changing. And grounding helps you move through change instead of bracing against it. Using these oils are optional. The transits and their lessons are not. Your chart has curriculum this week. The collective blend is the starting point, but your natal placements change everything. The custom transit alignment maps your exact transits, builds your personal blend, and walks you through a meditation recorded in your chart's evolved voice. There are 10 spots available for this every Sunday, and then once they're gone, they are gone until the following week. Link is in the description.